Hello, my name is Andrew Nyamayaro. I am a solicitor at Tamil Solicitors, and I'm making a presentation today on divorce, immigration, employment law, and criminal law, how they interact. Normally in January, people do make resolutions, and one of the resolutions that most people do make in January is about either to continue in their relationship or to stop. So there's always a surge of divorce inquiries when it comes to the month of January. There's so many reasons why people seek to divorce, but obviously during the beginning of the year, it's almost like a New Year's resolution. Some people are in relationships that are abusive. They've suffered from violence, financial abuse, sexual abuse, psychological abuse, and all sorts of abuse, including religion. Some people are just fed up with their relationship. And for some people that are immigrants as well, they are affected by the fact that they've come to a new country with a new culture, with a new dynamics, a new country where it's no longer patriarchal, where maybe the man is the person that has got all the responsibilities, has got to make all the decisions, has got to earn all the money, and so forth. Some men will then feel challenged because the wife is now earning more money. The wife has got more rights, and maybe they are dependent on their visa. In such circumstances, frictions are almost likely to happen. And people have got different ways to deal with frictions when they start. Sometimes people might seek counseling, sometimes they might seek therapy, or they will just end up divorcing. I encourage you to seek whatever help that you can get if it is possible for your relationship. Whether it's therapy, it's counseling, or ultimately if things cannot be solved, separating, especially if there's domestic violence or any sort of abuse that is involved before someone dies or get crippled. Having said that, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your relationships, to decide what you want to do with your relationship. But assuming that you have separated or you have divorced, what are the repercussions in terms of immigration? What are the repercussions in terms of employment law? What are the repercussions in terms of criminal law? In terms of immigration, the person that is being separated from and removed from the visa will have their visa curtailed. And once the visa is curtailed, they will receive a 60 days notice period, in which either to choose a route to remain in the United Kingdom or to leave the country. In the meantime, when someone is in the UK, they might have developed other routes that are available to them. These routes can be based on skilled worker, if you've got the requisite skills and experience and qualifications. It can be based on your children or other human rights. For example, if you are going to fight for your children while in the UK, you can use Article 6, right to a fair trial, or if you've got any serious medical problems, Article 3, freedom from torture, and Article 8, private life and family life, and so forth. Some people might rely on protection grounds if they are applicable. For some students, some people might become students. So it is up to you to consider what are the grounds applicable to you. At the same time, if you have separated or even divorced and you've now reconciled, you can still inform the Home Office, especially if they have not curtailed the visa. Both forms are available online. The form to terminate the relationship and the form to inform the Home Office of the reconciliation. Both forms are there online. If you contact us, we can help you with that. For the person that is the skilled worker or the sponsor, the Home Office might also want to know how you're going to manage, especially if you've got young children. I have seen letters where the Home Office, you have to ask that you came together with your partner. Now you are by yourself. How are you going to manage the school runs, the expenses, the costs, and so forth? And you have to reply whether you're going to be sending the children back to your home country. Are you going to get a child minder in nanny? Are you going to have family members or community members helping you with child care and things like that? And if you are going to get someone that you're going to pay, for example, as a child minder, how are you going to manage, especially that most of the people that are on the skilled worker are not allowed to have recourse to public funds. So the termination of the relationship has to be looked from both angles. It will affect the sponsor, and it will also affect the dependent. However, it is the dependent that is affected mostly because they will not have any grounds to remain in the UK based on the relationship. They have to look for other alternative grounds that they might have or that they might establish to remain in the United Kingdom. If it is based on domestic violence, then whoever is the victim of domestic violence can also make an application for support. You will normally get a concession of 3 months, on which you have to sort out yourself. And then from there onwards, if you're on a skilled worker visa or a skilled worker dependent, that is. However, these resolutions to separate are not only limited to people that are on a skilled worker visa. People are on different routes, some on even British citizens, people that are on settlement, people that are on protection. However it is, the circumstances, the affected person will still receive a curtailment letter. One thing that I've observed is that sometimes the dependent does not have their own contact details with the Home Office. It is important for you as a dependent to make sure that the Home Office has got your current phone number, email, and address, so that if anything happens to your visa, they will contact you direct rather than to contact the sponsor, the person that is sponsoring you. And if something happens like that where they're separating from you, circumstances might prevail that they will not tell you what is happening until the 60 days notice is passed on. So make sure you're in your e-visa, you update your own contact details and so forth. So separation or a divorce has got an impact, it has got an effect on your visa, it has got an impact on your leave to remain in the United Kingdom. It also affects in other circumstances the employment, because once someone does not have leave to remain in the United Kingdom, then the next thing is that their employment is going to be affected. They may not be able to generate their share code, their employer may not be able to do the checks and so forth. And if they overstay their visa, then they might not be able as well to have right to work, right to rent, to have a bank account, to drive, because they are now an overstay. So you need to be very careful if you are working to then decide whether to stop working by yourself, or eventually your employer will find out. And if the employer is visited by the Home Office and they are employing someone illegally, then the Home Office will give them a hefty fine, starting from 5,000, sometimes 60,000, depending on whether or not the discounts that have been applied. So most employers would not want to have that on their door because of you. So the separations might also impact on the employment, and it might also impact on the income of the family, because it's going to come down from 2 incomes to a single income. So we have to consider all those factors when we separate or divorce. Like I said again, the decision to separate or divorce ultimately rests with the aggrieved party or the person that is living, and you have to do what is in your best interest rather than to just continue to force yourself in a relationship that is not working, or where you are suffering in the relationship. The separation might also affect you in terms of criminal law. If, for example, domestic violence is involved, and the authorities have been told, the police are involved, the social services are involved, and it has been reported, you might end up also affecting your DBS if you are the perpetrator, and some people can end up having a criminal conviction. So if you've got a criminal conviction, then you cannot, it will then affect your suitability under immigration, it will affect your DBS, you might not be able to work with vulnerable people, in the society and so forth. So again, even if you are a dependent and you see that there are circumstances that might lead to you having your criminal file affected, then you might have to consider to move away, especially if you've got other grounds for you to remain in the United Kingdom. So it is important that we consider these factors from the point of view of the person that is the sponsor and the point of view of the person that is being sponsored, the skilled worker and the dependent, the British citizen and the dependent, the person with the leave to remain and the dependent. Both of us or both of you are affected in those circumstances. It is just a matter of how are you affected and how are the children affected and how the Home Office comes in. If you've got any reasons to remain in the United Kingdom, then you have to give the Home Office the reasons why you should remain in the United Kingdom. Some of the reasons might include you paying Home Office fees and insurance health surcharge, which is normally a lot of money that is involved. Some people might not have the money because these things happen when you are least expecting it. And for some people, especially in January like this, they've got commitments back home where they are supporting their family and they don't have money, they've got their own family here. And if you cannot afford it, and if it is right to do so, you might apply for what is called a fee waiver. Sometimes fee waivers are not applicable to everything, but you have to make sure that it is applicable to your circumstances if you are going to apply for a fee waiver. So those are my presentations today on the issue of divorces, especially that we get inquiries in the month of January, and people start their divorces even anytime during the year, but especially when they are making their New Year's resolutions and when they are considering their life for the new year. It is important that you consider your own best interest and not remain in an abusive relationship, in a relationship where there is no love or where you are being taken advantage. But at the same time, you also have to consider the consequences of the actions that you take on the family and your partner, if that is necessary. There's always help that is available. We are lawyers that help people with issues to deal with immigration. If you are affected, if you are also affected in terms of family, you're doing divorce, you're doing child arrangements, financial arrangements, and so forth. We do wills, probate, etc. And you can also deal with other professionals when it comes to your well-being, attending for therapy, attending for counseling, and if you feel not safe, to contact the authorities such as the police and the social service so that you can be helped, even contacting and talking to your GP. Thank you so much for listening in today. Thank you.